Y'all see that John Boyega tweet?
I have not seen it.
All right. Homie posted on Twitter that he hates racist people. You know, he said it in all caps. He was very serious about it. Stop. No. And the whole Twitter community flipped it upside down. So now he's receiving a whole lot of backlash for it. I think it's stupid. Man, I got all the right in the world to say that he hates racist people because it's a big ass problem in today's time. It's super prevalent right now, and it sucks. It sucks. Yeah, I realize that I went nowhere with that point, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say, welcome back to Even Serves. I just want to say
that's
it. I just want to say it.
That's what you got that
for? I just want to say that.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Because
damn, you be here.
I thought this was going to be an emotional opening, but that's not the direction it went at all.
Not everybody can be a George.
Oh, black. Man.
But it's all good. It's all good. If there's one thing I can say about my openings, you never know what to expect.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right about that.
That's very true.
That's why I'm good at it. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Feeling good, man. Feeling well, kind of good. Kind of good. A lot of bullshit going on in the world right now.
Say it again for the people in the back.
A lot of bullshit going on in the world right now.
Hey.
So let's talk about how this all started, how this all went down. About George Floyd. I'm sure everybody here knows about the situation. Everybody knows about what happened and whatnot. What were you guys' thoughts when you guys heard about the video? Just when you saw it, like, what were you guys' thoughts?
I didn't watch the video because me personally, I'm tired of seeing black people get killed on camera.
Yeah, same.
I'm not a snuff film advocate, so I'm not watching those anymore. But my initial reaction was it really wasn't anything new. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary that we've been hearing about.
Yeah.
So if anything, when I heard that the rioters were in Minneapolis and they were setting the precinct, that was the shocking part.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, go team. Fucks with you. Somebody else go.
I totally agree. I didn't watch the video. It was a heartbreaking thing to hear about, but it's something I'm so used to hearing about that I'm just used to it. Oh, there's always a video, and there's always some cop killing a black man. And that was awful, as I'm sure we all agree on. And then there were the protests, right, which kind of surprised me because we're in the middle of like a quarantine lockdown type thing. I saw this photo of it was like the same location at night when a bunch of people were destroying it. And I'll say this: most of the people that were destroying it were white, right? And then the next day, there were a lot of people cleaning up. Most of them were black, and they were, cleaning up the street that had been destroyed the night before. And that's the thing, is like, yeah, you can destroy all this stuff. At the end of the day, it's still the people in that community that have to fix it.
Yeah.
It's certainly not without repercussions, no matter how you feel about it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it.
I have a lot of mixed feelings towards all of this. And it's like I'm trying to be super open about it. Like, I don't want to just look at it from the typical black eye, being that I'm a African American myself. Like, I'm trying to be understanding of all points of views. But no matter how right or how wrong these protesters and other people may be, all of this started because of the same problem. We're tired of seeing black lives go down just because people want to exert excessive power. And ultimately, it's the same thing going on. It's the same thing that many of us been preaching for many moons now. There's too much corruptedness going on in our higher systems, and the people are tired of it. From speaking for like the protesters, we're tired of waiting for change. So it's about time that we take to the streets. It's about time that we get our signs and our posters together. It's about time that we tag a couple of buildings up and let these people know that we are tired. We're tired of justice not being served to the people who actually did wrong. And we're tired of too much, I won't even say justice. We're tired of too much oppression being put on those that did the bare minimum of a crime, if they did anything at all.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that there are people out there whose crimes, cost them their lives. I mean, there are people out there that has this some terrible things, but as far as the faces that we know for a fact that did nothing wrong to get the outcome that they received, this is what we're tired of. Like, how can you sit here and kill? How can you sit here and kill somebody? Not talking about George Floyd, but how can you sit here and kill somebody who's selling bootlegs when there's people out there that's literally going on masquerades, just killing people left and right, but you want to give them an actual trial? You want to actually put them in jail for life. Meanwhile, you killed the man that's selling bootleg CDs, and you thought he was reaching for a gun when he was actually trying to get his wallet out to show you his ID.
Yeah.
Like, we're tired. Protesters are tired. As for rioters, like, I've realized that it's not Black people that's solely doing the rioting. In fact, it's more people of opposite colors that
Yeah.
are breaking stuff and vandalizing stuff. And I agree, it's wrong. But once again, trying to look at it from an open eye, I understand. I feel like this is their way of retaliating with their anger because they don't know how else to show how angry they are and how much they feel for our pain.
Yeah.
You know, even though me and Robert are great friends, Robert has admitted once before that he can't understand the same amount of pain and oppression that me and Jakor could go through. But at the end of the day, he's trying. He's trying to look at it from an open eye. He's trying to be there and support us. Kitty, move. This is not your time to talk. Move.
Oh, I want more pussy.
He's here. You go.
Crazy.
Thank you for breaking the ice. But so it's like for the people that are going out there rioting and vandalizing and stuff, I understand. Now I will say this: y'all don't have to do all the extras because at the end of the day, we all fighting for the same message. But I understand. What I will disagree with are the people that's going around looting stuff, talking about justice for George Floyd. Justice for George Floyd doesn't mean that you go into Target, loot Target, get yourself a new PlayStation, new TV, some more hair products, yada yada, and take the money all and then some. That's not justice. That's more so retaliation of anger. And you're trying to use this man's name as reason for your retaliation. That I don't agree with.
Yeah.
It's about time that we get some type of some real progress in our justice system. It's about time that for people up in the White House and then some, it's about time they start speaking out for us. I'm tired of these white people, these Republicans, these whatever people that want to go into the office and think they understand our problems and do the bare minimums for us. Like, no, we need people that's really going to step to the plate and tell people that we want equality for all people. We want justice equally served for all people because that's what America built their name upon, equality for all. What type of democracy is this if we not adhering to our own messages, our own decrees? Is it's a lot. Like I said, I'm trying to be open and understand, but at the same time, it's like I understand, I feel, and I hurt too.
Yeah. So I guess man, like I'm not trying to I don't want to take us as far as like a standpoint because I do see it from different angles, but I do think the rioting and the destruction part of it all is a little out of hand. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of businesses that are taking the hit. I think there's a Starbucks that got destroyed in downtown.
Oh yeah, my
over in
manager
LA.
was there.
Oh, there you go.
Hey,
I
My
mean,
manager
That
got
shit
held
took
at
forever.
gunpoint.
What up?
welcome,
there he is.
Chris.
There he is.
This man.
Woo, you up?
This
You
man.
made it. You made it.
I tried to make your argument for you, Chris, but I wasn't as effective as you were.
Hey, we got multiple tank tops now.
Well, I'm sorry that I'm late. You know, has some shit going on at home.
No, you're all good. You're all good.
You good, buddy? You good?
It's all right.
It's the Schmeat. It's the Schmeat. Oh my gosh.
Hey,
I have the privilege of being in a room.
He's
that was my intro.
All right,
He borrowed it. He borrowed it. He's gonna give it right back. He's gonna give it right back.
This is crazy.
Give it right back. Give it right back, my ass.
This is crazy. Why can't we ever stay serious for long?
So Chris, you got in a little late, but you kind of got in at the right time. We're going over the protest and everything right now. You know, our thoughts and what we're seeing right now and how we feel about it. You know what? Since you want? I was about to go, but do you want to go right now? So.
Well, I mean, you can go. I'm late in this. What were you guys talking about? Let's continue from where you were at.
All right. Well, I mean, just going from all the protests going on and everything, like I feel like there's only so much you can take, you know, and it's something like you guys said, it's not new stuff as to why all this started. You know, it's something that's been going on for a long time. We actually had somebody who tried to get everybody's attention about it every Sunday before a football game. You know, just not trying to, you know, start a commotion, not trying to interrupt anything, just simply trying to get your attention where he knows for a fact you're watching him. And everyone said that was the wrong way to do it, which, you know, and I mean, they try to make it a military part of it, you know, and I was just like, no, it's a respectful way of, you know, being a part of the Pledge of Allegiance, but not being a part of it at the same time. It's a respectful way. I mean, yeah, like there's just so much you can take. You know, I'm not saying everything is okay as far as all the destruction part of it, but I get it. I get why, you know, you're tired. You want to be heard. You've been trying to do everything the peaceful way. You've been trying to do everything the right way, or at least a calm way. And they just kept telling you to do it the right way. Do it the right way. So it's like, okay, well, you're not listening to us. You're not paying attention.
It's like,
what more do you want?
Right way.
Yeah. There's. You know, it was a mess that was brought upon themselves. I'm not saying the protesters, but I'm saying people in charge. You know, people who have a say so, people who can make some change. But you know, they just ignored it. They ignored it, or they put it off to the side, or they gave it attention for like all of 5 minutes, and they said, "Okay, on to the next thing." I was like, "It's not done. Just because you don't talk about it doesn't mean it went away."
Well, see, it's interesting that you say that because when we don't talk about it, it's almost as if it didn't exist.
Here we go.
You know?
Yeah.
You know? So here's the difference from what went on in the 60s and what's going on now. So in 2015, obviously this kicked off Black Lives Matter. Great, we're doing it. We're making a movement, making sure nobody forgets. But then we dipped. We stopped. Donald Trump was elected into office, and immediately all our attention focused on him. Black Lives Matter was still around, sure, but I mean, nobody was paying attention to it. In the 60s, what they did was they made sure nobody forgot. Every day they protested. There was a boycott for multiple months. They made the economy crash. Great.
Yeah.
Cool. Keep it going. What did they continue? There was a lot of people that died, a lot of people that sacrificed their lives, but they made sure that this protest, everything they were fighting for was engraved in people's minds, and they never forgot about it because it was on the news every single day. What's on the news right now every single day is the coronavirus pandemic. We're not paying attention to anything. The only reason this shit caught traction was because a video came out, circulated. Everybody's on social media. If we continue to do this, then you know it's gonna catch traction. But the thing is, we have to continue fighting, moving forward, and doing what has to be done to actually make sure that it stays. Not just, oh, okay, this is important now. Fuck it. On to the next. Oh, Kylie Jenner had a baby. Kylie Jenner had another baby. Oh, okay, cool. Let's give her attention. That's what we do. That's what everybody has been doing, unfortunately. It's sad to say, even though they can say, no, I'm not doing that. What's the first thing you do? What's the first thing that happens when you open up Snapchat or Instagram? There's a suggestion of other people's lives. Sure. But honestly, like, we have been, like, we're not paying attention to politics right now. None of us have.
Well, that's not entirely true. I mean, we pay attention to Donald Trump. I think we just give attention to the wrong stuff.
Yeah,
we give attention to the wrong part of Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well,
we worried about everything he's saying on his goddamn Twitter.
that man requires too much attention. Like, he's a fucking ticking time bomb. We never know when the fuck he's gonna go off and say, fuck it, war with everybody. So you gotta pay attention to him. I get it. But, we're not holding people accountable for anything. And honestly, these protests that are going on, I'm okay with it. Great. Just don't fuck up businesses, man. Like, especially when in your own neighborhood in downtown LA, there's a lot of people in the struggle that are literally trying to fucking make it out. And you're just keeping them down. Some of them don't even have insurances. So everything that was burned down and, vandalized, stolen, they're not getting that back. They're most likely fucked.
Yeah.
You made their life worse. If you're going to burn shit down, you're going to cause havoc, break government buildings, burn down police stations, fuck up, police cars, cruisers, all that shit. Make the city hurt. Don't
make
hurt
the
your own
people
people.
hurt. Make the city hurt. I like that.
Exactly. Make the local government and the federal government feel it. You don't want to fuck up other shit that they don't give a shit about. Businesses, you burn them down, they come, they go. Big companies, great, whatever. Doesn't mean anything. Where you really want to attack these people to get these bigots to actually act, take money away from them. Force them to spend. Once there's no money in the system, then they cry. That's how you make a nation bleed, I guess.
No, I think that's a really logical explanation. You low key gave a good insight to the most difficult question there is when it comes to these situations, and that's what's the right way to protest? What's the right way to get the answer that we want?
Yeah.
And we're seeing progress, but we're not seeing enough of it. And right now, like I was saying earlier before you came in, like there's a lot of people there's protesting, but they're using these old past names like George Floyd as a reason to retaliate more so than protest. And retaliation is the part that I have my frustrations with. Like, we shouldn't be retaliating, we shouldn't be stealing stuff, we shouldn't be looting corporations. You gotta be smart about what you're destroying, because like you said, ultimately if we go around hurting these many businesses, we're hurting ourselves. We're hurting the same victims of the problem, and that's not smart. Because that's how we all get separated, and that's how we end up right back at square one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny because J. Cole addressed this exact issue that's going on.
J. Cole, I swear.
In one of his high for hours songs, he literally says the revolution isn't the way, because we know how men are going to react. You do revolution, you put somebody else in power. What's the same shit that's going to happen? Oppression. Somebody's going to end up coming out hurt, and the same cycle is going to continue. Men, I mean, I get it. We're all not perfect. Nobody is perfect. I mean, we're still learning, but the thing is, we don't learn from history because we choose not to. We choose to stay ignorant of it. It's there, but we do nothing about it. We don't utilize it to our advantage when we should. We should learn from our mistakes, and we don't. We just keep going back and forth in this cyclical motion. And unfortunately, if we don't break it, we're not going to get out of it. So, while revolution, I think, isn't the way.
Hey, I need you to do us the solid.
What?
I need you to take the law stuff to the White House, and I need you to be one of those minority people that makes a difference.
I'm gonna try. I want to be out there, and I want to protest. I want to do all this shit. The only shit holding me back is the fact that I can't get arrested. If I get arrested, I have to explain that to the bar later.
Yeah,
and
that's your career.
chances are I can't get licensed. But I'm gonna try to find a way to do my own part. My own way of protesting. I won't burn buildings down, but if I have to boycott, if I have to fucking do sit-ins, all that shit, I'll do it. Even if I get arrested for that, because it's not vandalism. It's what.
I mean, can't you easily just march with people and still not get arrested for that?
You could march with people, but the moment they try to detain your ass, obviously you'll plead a First Amendment right. Great, and that's a great excuse for anything later on. When I have to explain it. But if I get detained, say in collusion with like vandalism or anything like that, because I'm a part of a group, then they'll think, oh shit, he's conspiring with them, and then that's where I'm fucked. Because explaining it would make it harder. But I'll do my part, sit-ins, anything peaceful for now. The moment I get my license, that's another shit. That's some other stuff.
Burning everything down.
Hey man, by the court law 1015-AC. Nah, we appreciate that, Chris. Let me ask y'all a question, or maybe a couple questions if I can get my questions right. Do y'all feel like it's okay to pin the blame on the entire police force? Like, should we blame the small group of policemen? Should we use the problems or the situations of of a couple policemen and use that as reasons to blame the entire police force? I'm just to answer my own question. I don't think it's okay for us to pin those people accountable for every other cop. Like I was telling my friend yesterday, I'm like, it's not every cop is that cop, if that makes any sense. You know, like, and for us to go ahead and retaliate and make matters worse, who's to say that a cop that's been fighting for our side for as long as he could remember, he's just trying to do his job? Who's to say if that innocent cop could out of nowhere turn into that cop, and now you're that face? You know?
Yeah.
So what is Jakor think?
It just bothers me.
Because you
Jakor,
never answered the question. So what's the answer?
Oh, I don't blame the cops. I mean, I don't blame any of them. If you're asking me, I blame institutionalized racism. That's what the problem is. The problem is that the police institution was built to police minorities. That's what the problem is. So no, I don't blame the cops because they're doing what they're taught. They're using the force against black and brown people that they're taught to use. So
And, you know, it's funny that you mention that because it's genuinely true. I mean, this dates back to the Civil War. This dates back to the fucking amendment, 13th Amendment being added to the Constitution. It's a new form of slavery. Well, to me, there's even a book on it called New Jim Crow and all that. But the 13th Amendment itself, a new form of slavery, is prison. What do they do when you go to prison? What do they strip from you? Your right to vote.
Your rights.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never get that right back, even when you come out. You did your time for what you were punished for, but honestly, I don't think prison itself is actually a good thing. I want to work for the DA when I'm out of law school. Hey, see? Great book.
Smart man. Well educated brother.
Yeah. See, I want to work
on Netflix.
I haven't read it for you, so anybody.
Oh, there's a Netflix documentary on that shit too, the 13th.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that once I'm done.
It's good. It's really good.
It's really good, and it tells you how these people are actually treated. I mean, property. Yeah, I mean, technically, you are the state's property at that point. You have no say, no free will of your own, aside from in your cell. Other than that, you're let out whenever they want to let you out. You're told what to do, when to do it, and all that. You've got chains on. You're being taken everywhere. Sure, these people have committed heinous crimes, but then again, a huge amount of those people in there haven't committed anything that I would think any normal person out here wouldn't commit. Like maybe laundering money. Maybe somebody out here might do it, and they're not in there. And there's a lot of us that consider them still civilized people. Sure.
Yeah. Right.
And even if you get them, put them in prison, I guess. But when they come out, give them their rights back. Don't just keep them out as if they have no voice. You silence everyone with that. It's like nobody in prison was able to vote for who ran this country. So that's obviously already a huge portion of the minority population that can't voice their opinions or get out there and see change that we all deserve.
Yeah, it's
even Robert and his
it's
wife.
a tool of oppression. That's what it is at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, have you guys seen a map of where all the protests are happening right now in the United States?
I haven't looked at it now.
There's a map. I saw it earlier today.
It's nationwide, bro.
It's nationwide. Like pretty much the whole map is blue, and they're putting in red all the states that have protests going on. Obviously, not every city within that state has a protest, but a good number of cities and even at big crowds. And it's like almost all red.
Yeah.
California right now, like I think on there was only Los Angeles, San Francisco, and I forget the third one. But
is it Minneapolis?
Minneapolis is on there,
Yeah, definitely
Texas, New
Minneapolis,
York, Atlanta. I mean, there's just so many
Minnesota.
places.
I know
They've been wanting
Chicago's
to
going down too.
Chicago. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
and it's growing little by little. But on the downside of that, because like what you've been saying, is that there's people that play in the backside of it of like, you know what, this is an easy way to manipulate the situation and cause some damage. You know, I was at work on Friday. I was at work on Friday, and my buddy showed me a flyer of like a protest, Black Lives Matter protest happening in downtown San Diego, and this and that. You know, come do this, come do this. But we come to find out that wasn't anybody. It was a fake protest. They just wanted people to go out and riot and start some commotion. So, there's people in the background that can do some damage without really having to do any damage. And that's the scary part about it. If this is nationwide, who else, it's scary. But
with this curfew stuff going on, damn near half, 3/4 of LA is on fire right now because everybody want to protest and stuff. Like, nah, we need to stay home. I'm not saying that I don't want to be a part of the solution. I do, but we definitely not going to add to the problem.
Yeah,
Right.
There's other ways to do it. There doesn't need to be all this destruction. There's better ways to do it.
Man.
Exactly.
And we definitely not gonna go about it the stupid way. We're gonna loot the Supreme store for some new shoes and say justice. No, fuck that. No, stay your ass at home.
It's like if we're looting those stores at this point, it looks like we really just wanted to go out and fuck shit up. I mean, I was watching the news last night, and literally OGs, like fucking old gangsters, are out there talking to news reporters, telling them these kids need fucking guidance. Like, why the fuck are they out here fucking shit up? Like, honestly, it makes no sense to me, because you're giving the very thing that we want to change to our leaders, which is the idea that we can't be civilized. We're out here just trying to fuck shit up. That's all we want to do, so we deserve to be behind bars.
Yeah.
Right.
To build off of what Ty and Chris said, I think one of the things, maybe an unintended consequence of this, even of the stuff you guys agree with, like burning cop cars, etc., it confirms stereotypes a lot of times, right? It just confirms that this idea that minorities are a violent portion of the community that need to be stopped, right? Which, of course, we all know is not true, but the last thing we need is to give other people more ammo, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's a huge issue that is gone a little bit untalked about. Is we talk about, oh well, is it right, is it wrong, and regardless of whether it's right or wrong, I think it's also important that we talk about, well, what are the effects of it? Like, how does this affect how people view Black Lives Matter? How does this affect how people view Black people?
Right.
And I think
Let's talk about it.
This harms them. I think that when we see protests like this, it harms the public view and other people's ability to say, hey, I align myself with that group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes somebody want to completely disassociate themselves with that group. And because of that, the group itself and the movement becomes weaker, it loses traction. It's not that it's not important, and nobody wants to pay attention to it, I guess, but that civil unrest and civil disobedience, that type of shit is what fucks everything up.
We can't be like Killmonger. We can't be like that. I understand his anger. I understand his frustration. It's funny too. I was watching this movie. I'm like, dang, I understand the correlation. Like, people are angry, but there's better ways to go about our anger. That ultimate, I feel like that's the main thing that we're going to cross this podcast, is that there are better ways to go about our anger. Now, I'm not saying that we know all the best ways, but I'm sure we could think of quite a few that's better than what the fuck everybody doing right now.
Let's start with the number one shit that makes the world go around: money. Make the government feel it. Cut shit out. Don't spend for a day. That's a shitload of money that the government loses. You know?
Why do you think they're
Even-
trying to open up all their businesses?
Yeah.
And
They
it's
don't want
coronavirus.
the economy to crash. The CARES Act was passed, and where did all that money go? Stock market, businesses, rich people. The rich stay richer. HEROES Act is going into play. Where's all the money going there? It's not going to us. 1,200 of it is going to every individual, maybe, but that's about maybe 500,000 of it all.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
really not going to help us, and we pay a shitload more in taxes than we get back. Our military right now is, well, they invested much more, maybe 2 point something trillion, just before the CARES Act, before any of that shit, just to increase what we spend on military. But when what we should really be doing is helping our people. I mean, a lot of these people that are out there right now protesting, I'm pretty sure are protesting because, well, they have nothing. Why else loot stores?
Right.
Well,
You loot shit, you sell it, you find a way to make money.
yeah,
Right.
And
I'm not sure that's accurate. I think that
that's another reason.
I have
No.
a question.
go
Yeah.
for it.
So with the prospects of looting comes with taking away from these corporations, from these white corporations. So my question is, does stealing from them not somehow entice people wanting to change? Because at the end of the day, these corporations do start to lose money, and we all know these corporations do have a hand in politics. So,
Yeah.
my question is, does that not entice them to then do something because of all the looting?
It should, and it does, but when you target small corporations compared to huge ones like, say, Walmart
even
or
huge, because
Apple.
Starbucks is huge and
Yeah,
employs a lot of minorities, right? So you're
True.
not just harming the company; you're harming everybody that's getting a paycheck from that company, which can be your
Yeah.
friends, can be your family. I think
Yeah.
that's the issue.
Yeah.
I think Jacor's question was, do these companies, because they lose all this money, do they eventually step in and force the government to make change because of all the shit that they're losing? Am I more or less interpreting it
Yeah.
right?
So the question is basically, yeah, but I want to say if they're looting the bigger corporations, not the smaller ones. I'm
Okay.
about the bigger ones.
So the ones that pretty much control Washington and all that shit.
That's the ones
Right.
that actually do have a hand in what goes on in the government. That actually
Okay.
do fund these government activities.
Okay. Yeah. In my opinion, do what you
Right.
gotta do. Keep going. Make these people, what do they call it? Lobbyists. Do what they have to do to change. Because the moment the money starts to slow up, that's when people start to change.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing about it right now is that where it's all at right now, it's at a high pressure point. So I think that's why you see a lot of commotion going on, because even on the police side of it all, it's like they try to pressing back, you're gonna get even more back. So it's like trying to wait for a point where it kind of burns out a little bit, and then make a move. So it's like right now, it's like you can try and say all you want, but how many of them are really gonna listen to you? Which is unfortunate, because if it was another day, they probably would listen to you. But there's so much heat going on. There's so much, emotion and anger going on right now that everyone's feeling it, and unfortunately, they won't be able to hear you. So it's like you got to find that moment, like, okay, there's a little bit of silence, there's a little bit of calm. Maybe now we can get something so that they can hear it. But it's crazy. It's crazy that it's happening nationwide.
This is where I can see the huge clapback of this movement. If people are smart and they keep going at it and they keep this shit going strong until November, go to the polls.
Yeah.
Elect somebody who's going to make a difference. Obviously, I'm not a huge Biden fan, but first off, take the radical out. We don't need the alt-right. That the moment he got elected, shit stirred up. We've got other people out here thinking they can actually, be racist. Open.
Yeah.
It's definitely was 2 steps backwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I think if we really want to make a change, hit the polls. I mean, that's all we're gonna really have to do.
Something I've been thinking about is ever since the Black Lives Matter movement started, I've been on that. I've supported it, but I think with each passing day, every time there is more violence, in my mind, it's harder to say, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think I get why other people would disagree with me. I get why, it's a fight for equality. There's been so much oppression. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if there's so much violence. You need to align yourself. But I also think that if you're creating a movement and a majority of it, or at least some of it, is based on violence, you're not going to have as many supporters.
Right.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm still in that camp. I still think Black Lives Matter is a movement for positivity, for good. But I get concerned the longer this goes on, and the more it becomes about looting, the more it becomes about burning things down, that it becomes less about justice, less about equality and equity, and more about vengeance, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying that vengeance isn't deserved. It is. But it's something that I think is concerning and makes it harder and harder to align myself with that movement. And so I pose a question to you guys. At what point, what would the movement have to do for you to say, that's too much? Is it or is it like, it doesn't matter? Whatever they do, that's fine. I'm still going to align myself with the movement. Or is it close for you to reaching that point, or you don't know?
Huh.
Let me see.
Well, let's see. I mean,
Whoever ready.
you go too far. I think the moment you start, I mean, I know a lot of people that are going to be pissed off at this because I know there have been a lot of people that have been killed by, police officers, but you go too far the moment you start killing leaders or doing shit like that. You've gone way too far. Sure, they killed, our people, but this isn't biblical times. One, eye for an eye, all that shit. No, that's where it has to stop. You can't let it go that fucking far. You're not going to get anything done because the moment you do that, guess what goes into effect? Martial law. And we're all fucked. Military steps in and we're done. And a small militia that we could possibly form for ourselves to protect ourselves against the government, it's not going to be there, especially here in California, considering with all these gun regulations. It's not going to happen.
Right. We don't even got vibranium.
He's really on that movie right now.
Fucking dead. That was a good reference, though. That was a good reference.
Yeah, that was.
Thank you.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of us have said that we want Donald Trump dead, but I don't think that's the way to do it. I mean, impeachment was a start. We got it, but he wasn't removed. Removal would have made a huge fucking rippling effect. Like, holy shit. First fucking president to ever be removed. Would have been awesome. But we are where we are, and we honestly need to make a difference by not being like them. Show them that we're better, that we're different.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Nah. I second your 2 cents and make it 4 cents. All right.
Whoa.
Hey,
that was corny.
That
was bad.
That's our time.
That's
our time.
I don't care.
Guys out here showing us he can do math.
I don't care.
So okay,
right.
go. Basically, Ty and Chris are in the boat of that it would be an issue for them if they started killing people, right?
Yeah, man, we not out here taking lives. We can't be like the enemy.
But for Jakor and George, at what point do you guys draw the line? Is it before that, or is it after that, or is it there? What where do you guys draw it?
I think, it's a slippery slope because it can instantly flip and going from just damaging cop cars, damaging homes and stores to one person went down. It could have been a complete accident. Wrong place, wrong time. and next thing you know, the story flips. I'm not for them taking anybody's lives. I'm not for it. But I would like to draw that line somewhere before that even happens, because that can easily flip. It's one situation happens on either side, and then it could just completely go out of control. So I do agree. I do agree with Chris and Ty on this one.
Make it 6 cents.
I'm not gonna say any cents. I'm just gonna say my point of view, and I could figure out where that line would be drawn before that even came about. I would say there, but right now it's like at a very close to that edge that maybe possibly that could be happening in the next couple of weeks, couple of months if things don't get under control.
Yeah.
So it's. But yeah, again, to reassure you or to reconfirm, I'm not for them taking anybody's lives.
Yeah, I didn't think you were, but
no.
Jakori, you gonna add your 8 cents?
Yeah. Put that on up in there. I think the first thing I like to say is that I feel like with a movement any movement of this magnitude, you run the risk of attracting the anarchists, or you run the risk of attracting the people who just want to come in and do harm. So I don't know how fair it is to associate the violence with the movement. I'm not sure how right that is. So me personally, I don't, because when a movement is this big, you run the risk of attracting liabilities. At the end of the day, you just do. There's no way to avoid that. So I feel like the movement's core belief, there should be no violence, but it happens. The looting and the violence. It's sad, but I'm a sociology major, and it's kind of turned me into an anarchist my damn self. So, yeah, I said this the first day I was on the podcast when we was talking about the gun control, and I was like, if you're gonna kill the right people, then shit, I might be inclined to agree. And when I say kill the right people, I literally do mean the racist pieces of shit who are in power. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't mean kill Annabelle who lives down the street just because she's white.
Yeah, Annabelle didn't do anything. Leave Annabelle alone.
Fuck. Poor Annabelle.
That's not right.
She's a nice lady.
Yeah. Don't talk about violence and taking shit down if you don't know what to replace it with.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I do think we need a plan to move forward in terms of, after the protest, if everything works, what's next? What do we make a priority?
Yeah. I think that's what Killer Mike, right? That's what Killer Mike said on the news broadcast. Is it go home, strategize, organize, actually come up with a plan, don't go out, destroying everything. And he even said too, when he saw everything, he wanted to go and burn everything down the next day. But afterwards, he thought about it. He was like, well, what's that going to bring me, and what's that going to do to change anything? Right. Yeah. So
the most it'll bring is charges.
Yeah, and it puts a bad light on the movement. It's like, well, that's not what it was supposed to be about. But again, it just goes back to how much are they going to take?
Wow.
So I don't know why.
I think
it's not true. She's sitting next to the phone. Move your ass.
She wants your attention.
No.
Pussy needs attention too.
Exactly. Pussy needs all the attention.
It's not her time. Wait.
Excuse me.
All right. Well, I think we're getting close to that time, so I don't know if y'all want to wrap it up or if there are any more questions before we go.
Well,
you want to go, Chris?
This is what I think. If we actually make a change and get where this movement wants to go, let's think about bringing back and presenting the Equal Rights Amendment. Honestly, we it lost traction a long ass time ago, but the chances of it coming back now and changing, actually getting it accepted into the Constitution would be great. I mean, if you want to actually cause all this violence, bring that into effect.
Yeah.
And then again, practice what you preach. Don't just preach one thing and say you want equality for all. Well, you want equality for black people, or people of color and minority. You should get equality for everybody, honestly. Homosexuals, women, everybody.
Right.
It's that simple. Equal Rights Amendment, get it, enforce it. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Anybody else? All right, you, Big Rob.
I guess final thought. I think if Black Lives Matter is going to continue to thrive, then we need a path forward, and I hope that path forward is built upon creating a better world. That's been my belief so far. And I'd like to see that realized. I'd like to see us live in a world where equality is a thing, and I don't think it has been so far. And I don't want to.
Hey Ty, I think your pussy needs attention.
I don't want to continue to see these videos. I did, I liked what Shakur said about, I'm not a fan of snuff films, and it's not something I want to continue to see, and I hope, even though it probably won't be, that this is the last one we ever will. I think we need a sweeping reform of how police officers are trained, and the process for choosing them as well. And I think that should maybe be the biggest thing for Black Lives Matter, because that seems to be the major motivating factor, is the fact that black people keep dying at the hands of police officers.
Yeah.
And those are my thoughts.
All right.
I like them. To kind of piggyback off of that, like these videos that we've been bringing up, and they get kind of hard to see, and they get kind of redundant to see because we just keep seeing them. But I also want to see the stuff that happens afterwards, as far as like like in the riots right now, everyone's filming all the destruction, but is anybody seeing the cleanup that's happening right after? The community stepping up and saying, hey, look, we don't completely agree with the rioting, but we know that they got something to say, but we're here to clean up the mess as well. We take care of our own. We police ourselves. And I think that's cool. I think that's, a big speech right there in and of itself that the news doesn't really cover as much, but you do see it in social media. Those are some videos I like to see of people still saying, like, look, there are good people out there in every aspect of groups. Police officers, these riots and whatnot, there are good people. And, I want to see more of that. At the end of the day, I just want to see people are safe and people are being heard, because, I mean, how long is it going to be until they finally are heard?
Right.
So that's how I feel about it. Chikor?
I'm gonna say,
or Ty? Either one.
Yeah. You want to go? Because I'm gonna mix my opinion with my final messages before we can close.
Yeah. So maybe
Okay.
Chikor should go.
Chikor, go for it, man. We're gonna be here for 30 minutes.
The fight for equality is gonna take I feel like it's gonna take a while, even longer. I mean, we're getting somewhere, but I still think this is a long way to go, because the power that the oppressor has runs very deep and very, very far.
Yeah, it's ingrained in our culture.
This is a fight that we're making ground, but I don't know if in my lifetime I'll see the end of it. I would hope. I'm not sure though. I'd probably say grandkids, but who knows? The right people might get knocked off one day.
We at You've Been Served do not endorse killing anybody. We'd just like to put that out there.
I don't either.
That part.
We should participate in Blackout Day, though. Not spend anything on anybody. Yeah.
I I would say instead of not spend money on anybody, spend money on your Black-owned businesses. That's what I would say. Because at the end of the day, support those on that day because they still need to eat. They still need money. And we still need to go buy shit. So go support your local Black-owned business on Blackout Day.
Every day is Blackout Day for me because I'm poor.
Same.
It be like that. It really be like that. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and say my dues, and then I'm gonna close this out. That way, Robert don't have too much work when we done. We are at war, not literally, but figuratively. And I hope that people don't take that in a literal sense because that would only make things worse. And the problem that we have at hand is the equality, is the justice system. We need to figure out what exactly is our mission, what is our purpose, what is our hypothesis, our hypothesis, and how. Yes, thank you, and all the ways we're going to get back to it. You know, there are multiple ways, multiple things that we can do. It's so much that we can do from our standpoint, but the biggest thing that I'm sure we can all agree on, we don't want to make matters worse. So I agree with everything that we've been saying thus far. You know, I agree with, hitting the places where our tax monies is going to, because ultimately it's going to hurt the government. I agree with wanting to implement more people in our systems who can stand for us, because that's not something that we can all do. But as long as we got the right people in power to do it for us, eventually our voices will be heard. You know, everybody's doing all the screaming, but maybe we need one or a couple people to do it for us. At the right times. We have everything that we want is going to take a lot of time. And you're right, we might not see it in this lifetime. But as long as we are doing the right things to get to that, I feel like that's the most important thing right as of right now. If we don't see the change, it's okay. But as long as the change is in effect, that is what I'm fighting for. I want the change to proceed. I want to one day be able to walk outside my doors and know that, hey, even though you and I got two different skin colors, we still humans. Because at the end of the day, we share this planet. We ain't got nowhere else to go up until they figure out how to get, space travel going. And if oxygen and stuff is really on Mars, we ain't got nowhere else to go. We share this big ass rock. And I'm sure, because I've even seen videos and stuff that it's not just America that goes through this. It's even places like Britain that's having problems with equality. So it's not just us. So hopefully people can view this podcast and they can understand the message that's being relayed to everybody. We're not implementing violence or any negative means to get the results that we want. But we are willing to take whatever is necessary to get what we need. So I urge people listening to this podcast to go home first. Think about what is your mission. What is your mission? Not for everybody. Your sole mission. You as an individual. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much right now. This podcast. Thank you, George. I appreciate your support. Right, she on my foot right now, so it just don't make no sense. But what is your mission to this purpose? What can you do to contribute to the positive means that we're looking for? Because even though we just 5 people on the podcast right now, we are humans. When you walk outside the door and you see somebody, we are all human beings, and we shall all be able to reserve the right to live and be human beings. We shouldn't be judging one another based on color, based on status, based on this. Nah, fuck all that, because when you take all that away from people, what are you at the end of the day? So find your purpose. Find what it is your mission to contribute to this. And make sure you do everything that's needed to get to the right answer. Now, once again, I'm not advocating nothing negative. But I mean, shit, if something gotta happen, something gotta happen.
It sounds like advocation.
I will do my part.
You kind of it's kind of contradicting, no? But okay, I got you, buddy.
ultimately, I'm just gonna say it one last time. Find your mission. I'm gonna do my part and support where I can. I'm sure each and every one of you are gonna do what you can. Let's not be supporting Black Lives Matter just because it's a hashtag. Let's support Black Lives Matters because it is a means to a better future. It is a purpose. And ultimately, don't be that asshole that's looking out solely just for Black lives. This is a fight for equality. All lives to me are important. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing for positive means. I love everybody. I love y'all. And it's been Ty.
Oh, Chris.
I'm Batman.
Robert.
Schmeat boy. Big Daddy Hoffa.
And y'all know what it is. It's been You've Been Served. All right. Fight for all the. Wait, before you click. Fight for pussies too.
You got it, Ty.
I'm out.